So, on the weekend, I headed out to Belfast to race the Belfast City Marathon. This weekend, we're in Belfast for the Belfast Marathon. This wasn't my original plan this spring. Obviously, I was supposed to do the Manchester Marathon a couple of weeks ago, and I did do that race, and I did finish that race, but about 8 miles into the race, I started to have some pretty bad stomach issues, which just completely ruined my race. I did finish in the end, but it was just a terrible day all around. So yeah, I felt like I never got the marathon I wanted this spring and that I worked hard for. So here we are, take two. Recovery from Manchester was pretty quick because I only really raced less than half of it. The rest of it I was just kind of jogging around, had to stop a few times unfortunately. So yeah, I kind of came out of that race feeling a lot better than I would do out of a normal marathon. I didn't really need any time off. I was pretty much recovered after a day or two. Um, but then obviously after Manchester, I had some other commitments. So 3 days after Manchester, I flew out to China, Beijing, and competed in the mountain running World Cup. That competition consisted of two races. Day one was an uphill only race, which was 3.5 kilometers up the Great Wall of China, flat out on steps, really steep, difficult, very different to road running, but it was really good fun. And then day two was the classic race. That was 18 kilometers, just over 11 miles, up and down across the mountains. Some technical terrain, some fast running. It was a kind of a mixture, kind of similar to a half marathon effort in the end. And then I flew back the day after that. So that was 7 days ago now. And yeah, we are one day out from the Belfast Marathon, so legs are feeling pretty good. Had a lot of travel in me in the last week, but yeah, trying to keep positive and looking forward to the race. The main challenge in the last couple of weeks really has been recovery. I know my fitness is there and that doesn't disappear overnight. Plus, I've been able to run and race as well in the meantime. But recovery has been a bit more challenging. Obviously coming off Manchester, that was a pretty low moment. You have to pick yourself back up, but your legs have still been through 26 miles. So, really try to focus on sleep, good nutrition, hydration, things like that. And then head into China, obviously had a bit of a reduced mileage that week because I was racing again, plus the travel and things like that. So making sure my mileage was a bit lower helped not add fatigue onto an already tired body. Then I raced out there, felt good. It wasn't particularly to my style of racing, so some sections I really struggled to push hard on because my skill level, to put it politely, would be not quite up to the standard of some of the other guys on the downhill sections. It's the downhill sections I really struggle with in mountain races. I feel pretty good on the uphills, but yeah, I don't really practice it enough on the downs. So yeah, came off that. I felt okay, but obviously with the time difference, the travel, everything like that. Again, big focus on recovery. So just trying to make sure I slept plenty, eat good foods, drank plenty of water. Keeping hydrated, keeping well rested, keeping well fueled, all those kinds of things. It really does help you feel a lot better. So yeah, that was the most important thing in between China and this race. So yeah, now we're a day out, feeling good and looking forward to it. So you might wonder what I get up to in the day before a big race like this, and to be honest, it's not very much. It's pretty boring. So something I always tell the people I coach is try not to do too much the day before a race, especially if you're in a different place, nice city. Lots of people go to like New York, London, Belfast, Dublin, wherever you go, you always want to kind of look around if it's a place you haven't been before. But loads of steps the day before a race, not always a good idea. In fact, it's never a good idea. So yeah, just try and have a pretty boring day really. I will go for a little jog just to stretch my legs, and if you're not going to jog the day before a race, you could just have a little walk, but that doesn't mean a lap of the city. I'm just going to stretch my legs more than anything, shake out the travel, and most importantly just prepare for tomorrow. So that means not adding any fatigue, making sure I drink plenty of water, making sure I eat lots of food, make sure I go to bed early, and really not waste any energy because I'm going to need that tomorrow. So my run will look like something like 3 or 4 miles with a few strides thrown in. I might do a little bit of stretching after I get back as well, just to loosen up. The jog itself will be very, very easy. I'd never look at the pace, but it'll be minutes a mile slower than I will be aiming to run tomorrow in the race. So extremely easy. It's not really adding any fatigue whatsoever. The strides are just there to kind of get my legs moving a bit, make me feel good. But again, because they're so short, they don't add any fatigue either. And the goal here is not to run as fast as I can, it's to kind of stay nice and relaxed, just getting the legs moving, the body flowing, feeling good. Food wise, I'll have 3 meals, and in each of those meals, I'll try and have a good amount of carbs in each of them. So, for example, just been for breakfast, had plenty of toast, porridge, things like that, bit of yogurt. Yeah, things I normally eat, but kind of a little bit more the day before a race, just to make sure the carbs are nicely topped up. Hydration wise, I pretty much stick to water or tea throughout the day. Um, Again, things I normally drink, and I'll have a hydration tablet once in the morning, once in the evening. Maybe a bit of overkill, but at worst, your body's going to pass it naturally. I'd rather be a little bit too hydrated than dehydrated. And then for the rest of the day, I will probably watch a bit of football on TV, watch a bit of YouTube maybe, and yeah, spend a lot of time in bed.
Hello from Belfast. Just on a little shakeout before the race tomorrow. Nice easy run, look at it. I'm gonna do about 3 miles easy, then I'll stop, do a few drills, a few strides, and then just another easy mile back. So yeah, nice and easy along the river, nice and flat. Pace is very relaxed, just ticking over.
Run and lunch done. Now time to prepare more bottles ready for tomorrow. So on the course tomorrow I get to have 5 out on the course, and I get to fill these with whatever I want. So I'll be putting some carbohydrate mix in along with some electrolyte in a couple of them, and then I get to design them to make them look unique so that I know exactly which bottle is mine on the table, because all the elite drinks are going to be on the table, so everyone needs to have different bottles really, so that you know exactly which one's yours, because you're picking these up at high speed. Obviously you don't really want to stop to find your bottle, so yeah, making sure you can pick it up from far away is important. So I've now filled them up, just give them a bit of a shake, and then it's time to get artsy, and this is the only time I ever get artsy. Good morning on race day. Just chilling in the hotel, just had my breakfast and carb drink. Had a coffee as well, just put my feet up for one last minute before we go. Heading to the course quite early, so should have plenty of time to chill out there as well before it's time to warm up. And then yeah, get ready to race and hopefully have a good one. So for breakfast this morning I had porridge, a porridge bar, carbohydrate drink with an electrolyte on a black coffee. Pretty standard breakfast for me before a race. Not a marathon day, maybe I'll eat a little bit more than I would before a 5k, but yeah, I like to keep it pretty straightforward on race day. Every day is kind of the same, so it's all about routine. Same kind of warm up, same kind of fueling before. Obviously the carb load is done in the couple of days before. I don't want to eat loads on race morning, otherwise I feel a bit heavy, so yeah. Hopefully all good now and ready to race.
Warm up time, easy jog, but then ready to go.
So race done, ended up coming 4th place overall, running in a time of 2 hours, 18 minutes and 1 second. It was a pretty tough race, it was a tough course, lots of hills in the middle, between kind of 10 miles and 20 miles, really hilly section. So yeah, not the day for super fast times, but absolutely amazing event, amazing crowds, and I'd definitely like to go back again. I think with fresher legs, it wasn't ideal going in off the back of Manchester and then 2 races in China with all the travel as well. So yeah, quite happy overall to come away with fourth place. Time kind of, would have liked to have run faster, but maybe wasn't the best course to do that, especially with all the stuff I did beforehand. So overall, yeah, pretty happy and quite glad to get a marathon ticked off this spring and hopefully go faster in the autumn now. It was quite a lonely race. I spent most of the race on my own. I went off with the leaders for the first couple of miles, but then it was just a little bit fast on that course with the hills to come. So I decided to focus on my own race instead of overcommitting early on and risking blowing up in the second half. So I think it was a good strategy overall. I was kind of just hoping one of the leading three would slow down and I'd be able to catch up and finish on the podium, but it didn't quite work out like that. I was catching third place towards the end, but I wasn't quite catching quickly enough. So yeah, he finished about 20 seconds ahead of me and I finished in fourth. Overall, yeah, pretty happy with it given everything that was happening beforehand. And I only actually found out I was going to race on the Wednesday before traveling on the Friday and racing on Sunday. So yeah, it was a bit of a last minute hectic thing. So overall, yeah, happy with the result. So I tried to run quite an evenly paced race, but obviously with the hilly course in Belfast, it's not, the pace itself doesn't necessarily look completely even all the way through. So instead of bang even pacing every mile, I instead try to focus on running to an even effort. So kind of keeping the effort level pretty consistent all the way through, and especially in the first half, not overcommitting. And that was why I made the decision not to stick with the lead group, because I think in the second half I just wouldn't have been able to hold the pace and would have probably slowed down a lot more. So yeah, you can see from the splits that kind of the first 10 miles are not too hilly, to be honest. There's a little bit of a downhill at the start, so pretty consistent through the first few miles. It was a little bit up and down as I take drinks and gels and things like that, slight twists and turns. But then you can see between mile kind of 10 and mile 19, 20, there's a lot of hilly, uneven miles, so that's why the pace kind of goes up and down a fair bit there. I did feel a little bit tired, probably from all the racing and traveling I did beforehand in this section, but I wasn't actually losing any time on the leaders ahead. I was quite surprised. I thought I'd actually, have lost quite a bit of time, but as we came to one of the longer straights, after about 20 miles, I could see them just up the road still, so I was quite surprised that, I hadn't actually lost much time there. So, that was quite a nice boost for me to see them still up the road. Obviously, I was hoping one of them would have slowed down a bit by that point, but it was nice to see that I was still kind of in touch and hadn't really lost any ground. Plus, there was not really any threat from behind, so I was just, yeah, in a very lonely fourth for the whole race. Last 10k, it's mostly flat or downhill. There is one tough little climb getting close to the end, as you can see with the slower mile, but yeah, overall, I think I paced it pretty well given everything. I held position all the way through and was catching up towards third place at the end. So yeah, I think tactically got it pretty well. I think, maybe on a different day with fresher legs going in, I would have had the confidence to go with the lead group for a bit longer, but I think I probably got the best result I could have position wise out of the race on the day, given how I felt and things like that. Fueling during the race, you'll have seen me prepare my bottles and things like that. So there was 5 elite drink stations. They were at about 10k, 20k, 29k, 36 and 39k. It's a bit random, but they put them on some of the water stations for the mass race as well. So I ended up taking 4 out of the 5 drink stations. I missed one bottle and I didn't really want to stop to pick it up. So I got the first 3. I think I missed the fourth and then I picked up the last one as well. But I always carry my own gels in my pocket just in case as a backup. So I ended up taking, I think, 3 of these in the end as well. So I took them at around 13k, just after halfway. And then when I missed the bottle at about 36k, I took a gel instead there. So yeah, managed to fuel pretty well throughout. Didn't have any stomach issues, thankfully. That was a big boost actually, because that's what stopped me in Manchester. So yeah, really happy to kind of get through that without any issues, and also no, major fatigue or cramping at the end. So yeah, really happy with the way the carb load worked and the way my fueling worked during the race as well. Big thanks to Belfast City Marathon. Obviously, it was a late call to get me out there, so thanks so much for enabling me to race. I would definitely recommend the race to anybody thinking of going to do it. Absolutely amazing course, amazing crowds, lovely city. So yeah, I would definitely go back to do it again myself, and I would recommend other people, give it a go if they're thinking about it. It's not the flattest course in the world, but not every race is, and it doesn't mean that you can't run a good time. It just means that you have to kind of plan ahead with your pacing and things like that. So yeah, 100% would recommend the race. One of the best crowds I've run with, to be fair. So yeah, big thumbs up for Belfast.